And we're live. We did it, guys. We're finally live.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I see you on there. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound good.
Check, baby.
Yeah.
One,
Might
two,
turn
three.
you up just a hair. I'm going to turn you up just a little bit. All right. It's a
Turn you up on
special
our end too.
big fat podcast live stream this evening. We've got Kenn Solomon. I've just been handed a very important question for Kenn Solomon, who was Rocky the Mountain Lion super mascot Rocky for 33 years with the Denver Nuggets. And but his career goes farther back than that. This is where I have to take just a second and explain that I'm an original super fan because I was there on day one when he made his debut at Basic High School. No joke. That was the name of
Basic High School.
Basic High School. He graduated from
Still the
Basic
name. It's still the name of
What's the mascot of Basic High School?
the Wolves, proud
The
Wolves.
Wolves. Yes. The Wolves.
Wolves are kind of badass. So we're the Basic Wolves. It's like, we're not cool enough to be awesome. We're basic.
Just basic. Not. So there was a rocket fuel factory in that town that was called Basic something, and they named the high school after this place. Anyway, I was there from day one, and so little disclosure here: we're brothers. It's my brother Kenn Solomon. Spent years as a mascot. So anyway, I'm an original super fan. I got to look up to this guy, even though he wasn't that tall. I didn't have to look very far, but he set a pretty high standard of excellence all the way back then. He hit it hard. I saw him in high school. I saw him in college. Got to witness a lot of things. Got to ride it in a helicopter with him from
nice.
It was a big game between Utah State and BYU, and I got to be the guy. I was probably in like middle school or something, or less, right? Do you remember that, right, Kenn?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
dude, I was like, yeah, you came up for that game, and I'm like, man, you gotta be in this with me. Can he ride with me?
So Kenn's the older than you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And so he wanted to do a big entry into the game, and it was a big rivalry game between Utah State. And this is when Kenn was the bull at Utah State. And we took off in a helicopter not too far away at some medical center.
Yeah.
We flew onto the 50-yard line at BYU Stadium, and I got to hop out in front of everybody and open his door and let him out, and he got out and went and did his things.
Sweet.
So anyway, that was all big experiences for me.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are all these years later. He's had a huge career, and now I finally get to interview him.
Nice.
All right, man. We get to tell some stories.
Guys. It's a real honor, man. You have built quite the following here, and it's awesome to be a part of it. So appreciate you asking me to be on, and the boys as well.
All right. Can we see the boys? We have the whole team. All right. Let me introduce these guys right here. This is the team behind the team. All right. This is we got Cade. We got Kenn Solomon right there. He's like head of video production, head manager, head assistant, head a lot of things. And also there, thank you for being here tonight, Drake. This is my other nephew, Drake. And are we allowed to just say that, Drake, you were Rocky number 2? All right.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
How lucky is that? I think, are we the first podcast to have the first Rocky and second Rocky?
You are actually. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. First cool. Podcast to have both of us on.
Yeah.
Or even just me.
Yeah. Right on.
This first.
All right. First podcast. This is a real privilege for us because we get the scoop as well. And also, being a super fan, I've been able to witness you guys being on the court from being toddlers. And I'm not sure if we talked about this. This is actually part 2. We did a full episode. I think it's episode 42.
It
and
is.
that we had a good long talk with Ken about his career there, and he dropped a bunch of names, and we told a lot of great stories. I'm going to try to stay away from the same stories. We might have to hit on a few of them again. We're a little more prepared this time with some videos that we can also witness some of this stuff. But anyway, part of that though was how you guys were. I mean, since not even toddlers, like below, like who was the
2
young
weeks old.
court?
I had them all on the court at around 2 weeks old. I would go out and do a bit where, walking out with a baby, and they would start playing the song from the Beatles, "Shake It Up, Baby, Now Shake It Up," and I just, make my sons, they dance a little bit and vibrate and everything. And I can't say shaking, so I was not shaking the babies, but they were 2 weeks old and out
That's where
there.
I get my neck
they were
problems from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where all the problems started.
right. Was shaken baby syndrome on the court, right?
Yep, in front of a sold out crowd. Well,
Uh,
actually, back then, not sold out.
those were some lean years for the Nuggets. So
Yes.
all right. I
Yeah.
want to get into a bunch of stories, but I want to put the timeline quickly together here. What we're going to do is I want to explain that you had a career, an illustrious career of 33 years with the Denver Nuggets, super mascot
Yes.
Rocky. And I did already mention you started off at basic high school. Then you got a scholarship to Rick's College and then another scholarship over to Utah State. I'm going to blaze through this because we kind of covered this in depth in the last episode.
Yep.
And then you were doing a internship with the Rocky Mountain News and saw that the Denver Nuggets, or actually you were hounding them to let you try out for a little bit. And eventually they did contact you and say, hey, we're going to have a tryout. And you tried out against a few other professional mascots and you took it. And you were with the Denver Nuggets then for 33 years. And in that time period, you also, or I say you, but I should be telling everybody else, he was a part of many all-star games, dunk contests. They would do mascot dunk contests at the all-star game. And then there was just other trips. You've visited 35 countries representing not only the Denver Nuggets, but the NBA. And recently, you've also, not just recently, but you were inducted in the Mascot Hall of Fame. And now you've actually been, can I say this? I'm going to say it. You've been doing some international appearances in a different costume.
Yep.
All right. And I've seen some of those clips. I saw one of those clips. Can I say who you were or should we leave that? Oh,
No,
Luigi,
you can.
right? There's a great clip. Yeah, Luigi, the monkey. And there was a great clip shared by, I can't remember the account. It was like some Euro world
It's
sport.
actually Euro Gym, and so it's the mascot for the European Gymnastic Federation, and so Euro Gym was the one that first posted that. It got taken down after 11 million views.
Are you sure? Because when I saw it, didn't I send it to you, Cole? It had 25 million at that time, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, maybe it slipped through. I heard that they took it down twice. Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So pretty incredible.
It's a crotch drop thing where
but you know what? I sent it to Cole, and the thing about that little skit is, okay, he's balancing up on a beam and walking along this railing, and he slips. And as you can imagine, both legs go to the sides of that beam, and he lands, bam, and then obviously shows a ton of pain. But it's the follow through. You just like take that skit and you take it all the way down, off from the stands, all the way down. It was the follow through. That's what made you a pro. And anyway, that's what I was pointing out to Cole and a few others that I shared that with. It's the follow through.
Oh, I appreciated that. Yeah, it's after so long of trying, trial and error and practicing and performing and everything, you get to where you figure out what works.
So that takes us up to what happened there with the championship? Your last season then was when the Nuggets took the world championship in 2023.
Yep.
And then at that time, when you retired, there was kind of a thing going on here with Drake. If we can switch over, we'll see Drake maybe. But at that time, so Drake had been in position to audition and take over then as Rocky, and then but we had a pretty bad medical condition come on. And Drake, can you give me just a explanation of a little bit about what that was and what that was like going through that? Because you took over for as Rocky, and this is before the championship. Okay, so what happened there?
Yeah. So my first year was in 2021. That's when I took over for my dad here. But my first year, no medical problems at all. We had a great first season. I had my dad as a mentor there that whole, actually the first, 3 years, and Cade here assisting me. And then the second year, about into November, so this was 2022, I started feeling pain in my hip. And eventually it was to the point where I had trouble, like if I were to, sleeping at night, being laying down for a long time, I got up and my leg would give out. And so anyways, eventually I went and got, went to the doctor, got an MRI, all that. And I got diagnosed with something called AVN, avascular necrosis. And that's where you're not getting enough blood flow to your legs. And that's where your femur or your femoral heads start deteriorating. And so once I got diagnosed with that, that's when
Sounds like a painful process. This sounds painful.
It was very painful. Yeah, because the bones are just, they're supposed to be round, but they started getting jagged edges, and so it was very painful. And it was even painful just to do anything athletic. And so once I got diagnosed with that, I had an option to, I had two options: either kind of wait it out or get surgery. And the two surgery options I had was to, one of them that would be kind of a temporary thing, and it had a 50-50 shot of working, and then, or get a complete double hip replacement. So I went with the other one, took a chance on that.
Thinking, gosh, double hip replacement. I mean, that's got to be the worst, and that's got to be the most invasive and longest recovery. And
right. And my doctors even recommended not doing that at my age. I was 29, so they're like, we don't recommend doing this at 29 years old. So I didn't do it. I got the other one, and it actually, my surgery took. And so this was in I think March of 2023. So that's when I talked to the Nuggets, and they said, you know what, get your surgery, and why don't we, bring your dad back in. And so they talked with my dad, and of course my dad was up for it. So, and it's kind of a bittersweet thing. It's like, you know what, he deserves this, a chance at this, playoff run and potentially a championship. So it was bittersweet. But yeah. And so then from there, I was in a wheelchair and crutches, and then all the way down to a cane, but I still went to the games. I went to every single playoff game watching him. Somehow his half court shot got better at, how old are you? 58?
57 at the time.
57 at the time. I'm sitting there like, your dad still got it. Yeah, I would hear it from everybody. It was awesome. But so I went and watched him a bunch. And then, anyways, sorry, long story short, the surgery didn't end up lasting. So going into that next season, I was in costume. I was doing all the things, but I was still in a lot of pain. Sometimes I'd be out there throwing my half court shot just with tears running down my eyes because I was just in so much pain. So eventually I went and saw the doctor again, and they told me that my femoral heads completely collapsed. So my bones collapsed. And from there, I made the decision. I could have tried to muscle through, but I made the decision to get a double hip replacement. And so glad.
How old are you?
I'm 30. So yeah, I was 30 when I got that done. So that was in like April of 2023. And
24.
Oh, 24. Yeah, sorry, 24. And so after that,
and what has that done for you? What's that been like now? Or I mean, how like after that, like, I mean,
right.
how are you feeling now? At 30
I feel
with
great.
A double hip replacement.
I
Really?
know, and I was honestly so worried. Like, okay, well, how am I going to feel the rest of my life? I feel great. I feel back to normal. I can move around. I can run around. I can do all the things now, and yeah, it's actually really amazing. I don't notice anything. And my recovery was pretty much twice as quick as the last one. So yeah, I feel great now. I can run, do everything I need to do. So
that's incredible.
Anyways, yeah, after that, I felt great, got back in costume. So
all right. Well, and then I don't know, are we gonna
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, are you gonna go into what happened then?
Yeah, I was gonna say leave it up to you though about what happened then. Like, tell me what you want to tell me or don't want to tell us. But there was a transition. So you're retired. Drake is not Rocky at this point. So take us through that.
So he's a little restricted on what he can talk about right now for some legal reasons. So I'll share what I can. But basically he came back ahead of schedule.
Certainly don't want to put anybody in trouble about anything. So
yeah, no, it's all good. But yeah, they he came back and was feeling great, but they decided that they wanted to go in a different direction. And so told him they were going to have tryouts, and we pretty much saw the writing on the wall, but he decided to try out anyways, tried out, crushed it, was doing dunks and everything. And they chose someone else after the tryout to continue.
I kind of view this as okay, there's a lot of negative we can definitely focus on right there. But Drake, I want to ask you, what kind of pressure was that to follow Kenn Solomon 30-something years of what he had developed? And he wasn't always as fine-tuned as he was. He wasn't always like, the machine and the thing that you guys had all created as a team with Cade, and just a well-oiled machine. When I was able to come down and go to a game, you guys was all business and it was all very professional. But when he went into it, I remember it was the Wild West, and it was like he could just kind of get away with whatever. And now you've got very big shoes to fill. So I kind of look at this as like, okay, there's some negatives about that you're not Rocky at this point, but I kind of look at it too as like, wow, I don't understand what kind of pressure that would have been to have to follow your dad, not just somebody else, but your dad in that role and in that position. Can you tell us what that was like?
Yeah, it was super easy. I always thought he could do better, so no pressure at all. No, I'm just kidding.
That's our clip.
I'm kidding. Totally kidding. It was a lot of pressure. And the thing is though, with that, I never felt pressure from my dad. So I want to make that clear. I never felt pressure from Kenn, but it was the pressure of just the media and the fans and even people that work there. It was a lot of pressure. And I didn't decide that I wanted to be Rocky until just after high school. When I started following him around and started assisting him, that's when I decided, I was like, man, I want to do this. And so when that opportunity came, it was very exciting, but very nerve-wracking. And there were big shoes to fill because, I mean, he has everything everything down. He can always think quick on his feet. And I mean, yes, his half court shot was really good. That was one of the big things. But you know, from what I heard from a lot of people and critics was, you know, I got his mannerisms down, and
So
you know, I moved like Rocky.
That leads me to another question, though, and that is how much of that was conscious and how much of that was just witnessing him. I mean, it's in your DNA to move like that and to whatever. I mean, like how much of that was conscious and how much of that just came to you because that is what you had been witnessing every night since you were, 2 weeks old.
Yeah, it's so funny you asked that, because I was a little surprised too, because I was actually his backup since I was 19 years old. I would fill in for appearances and only like 4 games, you know, when he couldn't be there, and which was very rare. But all of that came from just watching him. It felt very natural. There's other things like having swagger and you know, doing specific stuff is where I needed to, you know, be more conscious about and put a little bit more work into. But mostly it came very natural just from watching him over the years. It was really different, kind of weird how it just flowed. It was awesome.
Yeah. You know, there's times where it's hard to determine who is who in watching highlights. I'll tell you, I know Kenn. I have about a 95%, I think, success rate on picking out if it's Kenn or you, just because I had to get dressed with him every Sunday morning growing up in the same bedroom. So, for church. And, but you two were really hard to tell apart. It was really just kind of amazing. I mean, I got some clips here we can pull. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wish we had done almost like a game here on, like, you know, who can pick out Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, because it's very, very close. Let's go ahead and let's do a little side by side while we're talking about this right now. And then I'm going to start picking on you, Kate. All right. So while we're talking about this, let's go ahead and pull number 3 if we can. We're going to put this up on screen. And these are some, we can talk this through. We've taken the volume out of all of these so that we don't get in trouble. Any type of, the copyright stuff. Let's see here. Oh, see, we got names on this one. So we are going to, there's Kenn right there. And there's Drake. Nailing that half court shot.
Damn.
The classic swipe move right there at the end. We're not streaming here very smooth. That's my fault. Oh, why are we not? Is this one, these are actually the MP4s, correct?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know why that's not playing super smooth. But all of these clips right here, these are all Drake. They've got your name on these clips right here. These were all sent over to us earlier. I don't understand why those are not playing better. But because if they were smoother, we could sit here and you could really tell how much you and Kenn are, how much your dad, you guys are just move just alike.
There we go.
They were smoothing out there a little bit. I mean, the pressure for that. I can remember when your dad first said to me, hey, I need to have a signature thing. And we had a talk. I'm not trying to just insert myself here into history, but I can remember this talk where he's like, I need to have a thing. And it was his idea, obviously. He's like, I think I'm going to do this. Like, what if I did like this half court shot where I do it backwards? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I got to tell you, I was not too confident about like any type of consistency there. Okay. And he did it. And then all of a sudden it's like, Kenn's doing this thing. And it turned into a huge thing. And then you got to make these half court shots that he came up with. You know, I
was like, thanks, Dad, for starting that. Now I got to do this every game.
Yeah, it became a thing.
Oh, you did
So it was. What was that?
You did it every game?
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was, yeah, I'll just go out there and, you know, huck this. And I made it. And then I'm like, oh, I'll see if I can do that 2 games in a row. And, you know, I started to get those. And then it became, you know, hey, we'll just start writing that in. That's, you know, we'll just start giving you that time. Okay, great. But
And right off the bat, the crowd were they just into it? Right off
oh
the
my
bat.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And it was, it started to become a thing. And then all of a sudden, a year into it, or I don't know, it was a short time, they came to me and said, hey, yeah, now you're, this was in the off season. Hey, we got a sponsor for your half court shot. I'm like, no, can't do that. I'm like,
Pressure.
yeah. I'm like, so what does that mean? Well, you know, if you, it was sponsored by a jeweler and everything, and they were given money, and then it switched from that later on to a bank, and you know, so bank was giving out money and everything. So, and then, but what the deal was is that every time I missed, the pot would grow, and so
Nice.
it'd roll over to the next one, and the
That's
next
why I
one.
think missing is not a bad thing. I mean, let that thing
Right.
grow. Let the anticipation grow.
There's
Yeah.
some people that got some good Christmas gifts.
Yes. Yeah. One time, real quick, I'll tell you this one. One time, I went on a miss streak that was, it was terrible. It was brutal. I went 9 games without making it. So the pot was up to $1,800, and it was the game before Christmas. And they would always bring out a fan that was standing by to win this money, you know? So on the court, all eyes on me, and the person standing right there next to me. Come on, Rocky. You know, so, and this time it was I don't know, somebody in the military, some Marine, and his family. So young guy in the military, his wife.
And I know how much those guys don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, and I'm just like, please make this, please. Yeah, sunk it on that one. They got a nice little $1,800 Christmas present right there, game before Christmas.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I will tell you that when when Drake jumped in, talking in the third person.
You guys talk in third person a lot. I mean, yeah. So it's weird.
When Drake was in there, when he first took over, all of a sudden I had never missed a shot in my whole career.
It's true.
Yeah.
I heard about it a lot.
He would miss. Yeah. I'd be in the back. Hey, you need to teach that boy, you know, how to do that shot. You know,
The last Rocky always made those.
yeah.
Yeah. The total luck shot, like of just with that head, just getting it up over that head. That's incredible from the half court.
There was actually, sorry, just real quick story. There's one time when I was on, while I was recovering, I was in the stands, and my dad was in, and it was during the playoffs, and some guy sitting in front of me, and he, after his half court shot, he missed it. It was like the first one he missed all playoffs, and he leans over, he's like, not quite like his dad, is he? I was like, that's him. I didn't say anything, but I was like, all right, so.
Nice. You had to go home and bring that one up a few times, I'm sure.
I may have.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any clips of that?
Yeah.
Let's pull up one of those right there. Let's see if we can, because we did see a couple of those here. Let's go to number 4. Actually, we'll see some other things in there as well, but I'm sure there's some of these in here. So we did try to play that clip of Drake in costume, and this one's actually, these are clips of Kenn. Hopefully we'll stream a little bit faster. We were trying to get our speeds up here at the Uncle Sam's complex to be rocket speeds. There it is right there. This looks like old footage. And what was that right there forward?
That was one of my very first. This is before I discovered throwing it backwards.
This is pre-backward shot.
Pre-backwards half court shot.
Granny shot.
Yeah. Yeah. My boys
Eight.
found that one in an old tape, and they're like,
Mid-90s?
"What?"
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's
Blew
mid
their
90s.
minds.
Look at that.
That is early 90s,
You're more surprised than anybody right there
right?
with your hands up. That's what those hands look like to me.
Yep.
And there's
Like-
the jeweler right there on screen. That's great.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Here we go. A little bit later on. And these are just not rolling smooth. I apologize.
I wonder if it's
Oh, we missed it. So hopefully it'll replay or something here. It must be take a second to load up or something. We're getting all of our technical difficulties figured out, and sorry about the hassle. And a lot of these clips, you can find a lot of these clips on YouTube. You can pull them up, and there's so many good clips out there to watch. I think it's going to restart here.
You know,
And then
if
you're
I
doing
want-
the traditional celebration there, humbly celebrating. Let's see
Yeah.
here. Can we reload that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible that you're able to hit that shot. And then again, how did he graduate to the ladder?
So, after a while, it's like, hey, we're doing this same thing all the time. And so actually it graduated a little bit. You're always trying to outdo yourself. And so I was doing it backwards, and then I'm like, how can I step that up? And so I tried to throw it from like 3/4 court. That didn't work. I wasn't that strong. So I did it on stilts. And so throwing it backwards on stilts, made it a few times. And then I was like, well, how can we go bigger on that? So I did it on a ladder. And then my assistant at the time was like, hey man, how about if we get a 30-foot ladder? I found the biggest ladder they make. And
Was that Jay?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Always
he ordered
going
it,
bigger.
and we started
It
doing,
looks
and
taller
then
than 30 feet. It looks taller than 30 feet. Here we go.
oh my gosh, wait till you're up there, man.
I can't believe
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I can't believe how you slide down. Look at this. And then you got to pull that thing up there.
Yeah. When you're up there, it's
Describe what you can see out of that head.
well, it's like looking out of 2 toilet paper rolls, and as when you get up there and you lift that thing up, you go from an angle going up a ladder at an angle to going straight up. Oh my gosh, that's super weird. But then also, to have your nose
head
sticking out there. Yeah, so you actually have to climb. I had to climb up with my head sideways and just, feeling all the way up. Then I throw my leg over at the top, and
And you can't see down.
you can't see down.
Can't see down because the nose comes out so long, and yeah,
Right.
you definitely can't see down.
Right. And then the ladder is actually not stable.
This is not OSHA approved.
Oh yeah, no. In
Go
fact,
figure.
when I first got the ladder, our risk and safety guy said, yeah, you're not doing that. That's you got to be clipped in. I'm like,
I can't believe they did let you do that.
Yeah, I know. How did you get away with this?
Doesn't take no for an answer.
okay.
I understand.
I just wouldn't take. Yeah, I mean that's unacceptable to me. Come on. And
I mean, you slip and fall off of that and land on that floor.
yeah,
super
I mean, and
splat.
that's what my risk and safety guy was saying. And
Well, the scariest thing about that ladder too is when you're standing on the very top, you start leaning forward and back. It just
man.
it
It
starts
sways.
waving. Yeah, it sways.
yeah, it
back
flexes
and forward.
when you throw it.
You can
That's
see it a
what-
little bit right there. And then look at that. It's bending backwards
Guys,
as you
go
slide
back.
you down.
Yeah, and when you throw it with some force, that thing gives about a foot.
Oh,
And
my
so-
gosh.
So yeah, it'll sway quite a bit. And then, so I got up there the first time. The guy's out there saying, "Yeah, no, you're not doing that. You got to be clipped in." And I said, "If I get clipped in, that takes some of the show out of it. That takes some of the, the
Takes the risk out of it. Some of the risk.
exactly right. No one wants to see somebody walking a tightrope with being tied off.
Yeah, that's no fun.
walking
We
a
want
tightrope.
to.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
need some-
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I'm that way. I'm a super type A, and I don't want to be clipped into anything. That takes
Yeah.
the fun out of it.
Exactly.
You know?
So the wow factor is gone at that point. So I said, if I have to be clipped in, we'll send the ladder back. I'm not doing it.
Where'd you get the ladder again? What do you mean send it back? Where'd you get this ladder?
We ordered it. Jay ordered it.
The funny thing is you can order these kind of ladders.
You just ordered it, and then like what? The Nuggets get a bill for that?
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Are you like that's my ladder? Don't nobody use that to clean nothing around here? That's my ladder."
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, one time we found that the building had used it for something. I was like, no, we are chaining it now to the wall.
Which you actually did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
With the name all over it. So
first thing they did when you guys were gone was cut that chain.
right?
This is ours now.
Yeah, it's being used in a different manner. Now, I will say that we compromised. I said, what's it going to take then? If I'm not clipping in, I'm not doing it. But what's it going to take? And they said, well, we're going to have like people on every leg holding it down, steadying it, making sure that it doesn't fall.
With a group of firefighters with a catch net down below.
Right. They actually had people surrounding it to catch me if I fell.
Oh,
Yes.
dude, you would have
like
from that height.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Now
It was
harm
ridiculous.
everybody.
Exactly. And so I started to say that. I started to point that out, but I was like, nah, just keep your mouth shut. If they're gonna roll with that, leave it. And they did. And yeah, I got away with it. I ended up the first I didn't baseball it in at first. I would bounce it. And so it wasn't, I don't know.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off on that, but I'm just wondering like how much when you transition from the court, because I remember you'd go out there and throw those balls to kind of get in that groove, right? And before the game, right? Was there some preparation time on those shots, going out and getting that muscle memory going? Is that what you would do?
On the ladder or just the regular ones?
Just the regular. Let's start at the regular ones. How much preparation and practice would you do? Because I know you're all about preparation.
Yes, I'm preparation precedes power. I honestly, I got to wear
big head shakes.
I got to wear, and I'm not just, pat myself on the back here. I hope not, but I got to where I wouldn't practice it. If I would normally for a while there, I would go up on the practice court just before, and I would throw a couple. I would throw some, and inevitably I would make one, and then I would get in my head that was the shot for the night.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. So
that's interesting. You'd psych yourself out. If you made one during practice, you would go miss it during the game, and you were like, I made my one for the night during practice. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The worst was
Drake.
Sorry, what?
No, go ahead. You go.
I was just gonna say the worst was when you go up there, because I would do the same thing. You go practice is when you go up there, first shot, fink in, and you're like,
yeah,
what to do now?
Wah, wah,
yeah,
wah.
like it goes in, and you're like, I could have just done that down there. So you just end up, throwing a few more just shots. But yeah, that was the worst.
Yeah.
Oh man. So then, what was it like to go then to the ladder? I mean, because it's a whole different angle. It's a whole different thing. I mean, was there no practices from the ladder?
So I would practice out of costume and then get in costume. You have to practice out of costume first, get in costume. I'll tell you something funny about that. There's a clip that's gone viral lately, where in
we
the
probably
playoffs,
have it. We are prepared, thanks to our man Zach.
Oh, hey, if you want to bring that up, it's the one where I throw it backwards on the ladder. And and that's the other thing, is taking it up a notch. Well, what's taking it up a notch from bouncing it in? Well, baseball it in, and then, well, what's taking it up a notch from there? Backwards. Let's go backwards.
Let's go ahead and pull up number 17, and let's get the story behind this. because it's kind of like you took it up a lot of notches. It seems like right here.
Yeah.
While he's
Hey, are
loading
we
this
gonna
up
take
here.
questions? Are we going to take some questions at some point?
Yeah, we are. We are going to take some questions. I should have made that clear. Did you see something you want to answer?
No, but I see him off to the side here. I can't see from this angle
Yes,
here,
we will. We are going to take some questions.
but I see a bunch
Well,
in there.
I've got guys over here watching those questions to see what we need to come back to.
Okay.
If we see something that pops up, though, we'll talk about it. So yeah, if you have questions on the live stream in the comment section, fire them away, and we'll get to those.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. What's going on here, man? When was this?
Oh my gosh. A lot.
Who is this? Is this camera great?
This is me.
That was so high.
Yeah.
That was so high. How high was that?
120? Was that?
Yeah, it was 120 feet. It was just so, dude. I was up there with you. That was scary.
Yeah.
Because it was a little wobbly up there.
Yeah.
I bet.
So I was asked to do some kind of stunt to kick off the season. And yeah, I wanted to, there's all these ideas and everything, but we ended up getting a hold of a crane company to come out and set up in the parking lot and throw that shot. It was, yeah.
No, wasn't it like closer to like 200 feet? It was crazy. It was huge.
That is,
Yeah.
it does sound amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to just go ahead and point out our first super chat of the night from Mama Jenks. Hey, Mama Jenks says, new Jenkins motto, preparation precedes power.
There you
How awesome is
go.
that?
I love it.
Look at you,
Mama
man.
Jenks.
Starting family quotes, man.
Yeah, there you
Family
go.
mottos. Oh, go ahead.
So we did that one, and I actually started with like 40 basketballs in that thing because I had no
I saw
idea
those in
how
the
that
base of
would go.
those. How many did it take until you hit that?
12. I think it hit me 12.
That's
Yeah,
That's
about
incredible.
you destroyed those balls. When they hit the ground, they
Oh my gosh, they
just
did
flattened
not.
out?
They were no longer round.
they had big old
Wow.
bulges on all the sides. Yeah.
I bet.
That's incredible. So speaking of, okay, here we got the ladder shot, the backwards ladder shot here, and with your point of view here, the guy on the side rails right there, that was great. The people watching at you. You had to have some interesting interactions with coming in and out of the tunnel there with people on the
Oh, yeah.
sides.
Oh yeah.
Is there something that sticks out? One of them really quick that you're like, that's one big memorable one.
No, not really. I would have, after I don't know, after you miss, you're walking back there and people are, like, Rocky, you never make it. I'm like,
What?
You got
What?
internet trolls lining the tunnel, basically.
seriously. I'm like, come
Real
on,
life
man. Were you
trolls.
at last game? Have you been to any other game? Yeah.
How many times are other people at work where somebody just trolls them while they're at work?
Oh my gosh. Man, I can just tell you horror stories about walking through the crowd. Rocky, you suck.
Oh, look at
Oh,
this view right
man.
here. Look at this view. It's a 360 cam, obviously, and it does not make it look any better or safer.
No.
That is intense. I apologize that our feed isn't faster. We're in a small town in Montana, and we have slow internet here or something, apparently. So I've been trying to get the fastest stuff. Mama Jenks.
It probably would have been faster, except it snowed all day.
Yes.
Threw it off.
I know. Probably the slow. Obviously, the snow. Probably
snow.
yes.
Yeah.
We got another super chat from Mama Jenks from Abigail. Rocky's scariest moment. Love y'all.
Ooh.
Wants to know, what is your scariest moment?
Scariest moment, man. I've got a lot of them. There's man, I've done some where I've swung in to the floor where, I was going.
Is that Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones one. That was kind of scary. Practicing for that was scary. Probably my scariest was my rollerblade dunk from the 3-point line, where they slingshotted me across the court, off the ramp, and dunk.
I bet you we have that one somewhere. I don't have that one specifically. He's bringing that up right now. That one is pretty wild. That I can't imagine doing that one. While he's bringing that up, do you have a moment, Drake? What was your scariest?
My scariest moment? I didn't really have any. As far as
did you get up on that pole ladder?
Oh yeah, no, I did get up on the ladder. Yep, I did the ladder shot.
And he made it.
Yeah, I did make it. Yeah, on the last shot.
Well, can I just say that when you watch the video of Drake, he hits it.
Oh, that's right.
And then he kind of gets really excited and like, whoa, and grabs onto the rail. Like, shoot.
That's right.
Ta-da! Like, it is scary to watch. And I'm down at the bottom looking up at him like, oh.
Yeah.
But
in the video, you can see me. I get overexcited, and all of a sudden the ladder starts swaying, and I'm like, grab on real quick. That was scary. That was scary.
That's incredible. Okay, here we are. There we go. There's the that's going to start up here in a second. And I think we cut down the volume because it had music in here, and we didn't want to.
I don't know.
But you're telling this story here in this little clip here.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at this. You've got, what are those, rollerblades or skates?
Rollerblades. Yeah. And in practice, man,
that was scary watching him practice. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my more scary stunts.
And what are you landing on? Just a pad? Just a soft pad?
Yeah, a 12-inch pad, but we also had lifted it. They had lifted up the other half of it so that I, in case I went too far.
Shoot. And
then you see off to the side there's Mark Randall, former player. He was my assistant at the time. He has this pad that just in case I went towards the team for some crazy reason, he was there to block me
injuring the team.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. All precautions taken.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. Talking about what's our preparation precedes power. Let's talk to Mr. Preparation, and that would be the man behind the men, Kenn Solomon. Cade, I've only heard glowing reports from your father about how you keep him in line. What has that experience been like, being Rocky's assistant? Not only your dad, start there, but then, because you were his assistant before his first kind of retirement, and then transition to, what was it like to go from, let's talk about that. What's that like to be the assistant of Rocky? What were you really doing down there? Like, I don't think people appreciate or know what all those people that are around him are doing. What were you doing down there? And what was that like?
Everything, and everything includes.
You can be honest.
Oh yeah. I will be honest. I mean, I did everything down to preparing for skits, performances. I would prep his locker room, drive him to every appearance. I mean, costumes. Costumes, getting costumes ready, so much, which is super stressful with Kenn,
because he's a last minute guy.
He's everywhere. And even like going to the arena and like, okay, we have rehearsals and he disappeared. Like, who's he socializing with? And I would have to go like find him. We have something to do. So it's stressful, but it was fun to do it with family. And I wouldn't have done it with anybody else, because I mean, we had such good dynamic, and I could sometimes just watching him my whole life, think ahead for him and we
You
could
know
pull
where
off,
he's going with it and what
we
he's
could
going to
pull
need.
off some amazing just performances and improv work, and it all just clicked with us three.
You kind of
Because
knew
Drake,
what next to go grab. You're like, oh, he's going to want this because this
Yep, he
guy
would
in the
just-
crowd is doing this.
just
And I
looking
don't
at
mean to
me.
speak for you, but I can understand it from watching you guys for years.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth, and doesn't mean it wasn't hectic and insane at times and high pressure, high stakes situations. But yeah, I mean,
Well, and you're on the headset too. So
Yeah.
not only is he helping me or Drake and anticipating and getting props and getting, during a game. This is just talking during a game, not appearances and things like that. He's got somebody
I'm
in his
commuting with
ear.
like production. So like the game director, everybody is in my ear, and I feed that to him, and yeah, vice versa.
And a lot
Oh,
of times
that's gonna
they're
be-
yelling at him.
About him, and I just take it and don't tell him about it because it'll throw him off his game. And there is sometimes, because I would stand next to him for that half court shot, especially Drake, because they were like critiqued Drake ridiculously. So I would
They
hear
expected
be
so
throwing
much.
shots. Drake knows what he's doing, but they would be in my ear like, tell him to do this or shift that, and I would just, okay, pretend, because they're all watching me. I would pretend like I'm saying something to him, but I'm not going to, because that's going to throw him off if I'm, you know what I mean? I know that
Yeah.
information is not useful for him, so I'm not going to say
Yeah,
it,
feel
but
that.
I would pretend like
And
I'm
then later,
saying.
are you telling him, hey, if they ask you about this, I said something. I
Yeah,
went through the motions,
yeah,
and it's your fault now.
yep, yep. But he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
And-
So
and-
what?
So for in hit, for what he was doing, I mean, like he says, he wouldn't have done it for anybody else. There, we tried out other people, when
Over the years.
over the years, and there were some people that just could not,
assistants that,
not
couldn't stand
handle it. Drake was my assistant for a few years, and while Cade was away at school, and it was, it clicked. Man, we had a great thing. It just, very smooth. But some of the times when they're yelling at him, get him off the court too. It's,
I'm just like, you should probably, let's get going.
he
He knows
I'm
what he's
trying
doing.
to softly tell him.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
there's no, I would not wear an earpiece or anything like that. There's no way I'm going to have somebody in my head screaming at me or telling me what to do or whatever. That's what he was for. Hey, there's somebody in the, he would,
He'd kind of
come up
filter it,
and-
and
yes, he was the buffer, and man, it's just an important position.
There was so many times where I was getting yelled at while on headset while I was assisting my dad, and be like, Drake, do not let him on the court. Do not let him on the court. Drake, stop him. I'd be like, Dad, stop. Sorry, guys, you didn't hear me. Dad, don't do that. I'm like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, and I trust him. I know he's gonna do it well. But there's times like, sorry, I told him, he just didn't hear me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then, afterwards it would be like, oh, that was awesome. So glad you didn't listen to Drake on that one.
yeah. Wow. And in our first podcast, we kind of talked about some of those stories of like the John Elway story, where you went to them ahead of time and said, hey, I heard John Elway is going to be here. We went through this story in depth. It's one of my favorites, about how they blatantly told you, no, you don't go near John Elway. And, you basically made the call when there was a timeout. You were like, I'm going for Elway. And your assistant at the time is like, no. Anyway, you go out there. The thing turns into what you think is going to be a disaster when they go and stop the game clock because of the prank that you're playing on John Elway. And now you're like, I'm fired. Like, I am fired. They're going to stop the game. They've stopped the game clock. this is all going south. His ex-wife is stumbling out onto the court. It's his ex-wife now. She's stumbling out on the court, yelling at him, "John, they're making fun of you." And you know, and then a special moment happens that you realize, oh, I still have a job. So making those tough calls of like, I'm going to go for the big moment, and that's got to be hard to know. How far do you push it? How far do you say no, and or not take no for an answer, to go and produce that memorable moment? And that's what, right? That's what we talked about. Was your career was about creating memorable moments.
That's really, yeah, you nailed it. It's that's what we do. You create moments that people will remember the rest of their lives, and it's kind of a big responsibility if you look at it in that way. But I always tell people, you got to go with your gut. You have to go with your gut. Trust it. It's what it's there for.
Yeah.
And if you can push past that fear and have confidence in yourself, you're going to win 99.9,
Wow. Yeah. You were kind of talking about some of that before with me about like even this backwards court shot, and we talked about it. And I hate to go back to that, but you were telling me something earlier that I thought was kind of interesting, that you said eventually it became a thing of faith for you. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I there's so many, I call them magic moments that happened throughout the years. And this shot really became a creator of a lot of those magic moments where, I've come in the back, and I mean, Drake several times, oh my gosh, how did you do that? How did you know you could do that? Those types of moments. And because he knew eventually he would be filling in and taking that, but he would ask me that specifically. But there's a lot of times when I didn't really have an answer other than faith. I knew that I could do some of the things that I did and never questioned it. For example, that backwards shot on the ladder. The last one I threw was in the playoffs, 2023. It's our championship year. And I was going to do the ladder shot that night. And I had done a backwards shot on the ladder one time years and years ago. And throwing it forward, it's just safe. I thought I really got lucky on that backwards one back in the day. And so as I'm going out there, it's playoffs. There's so much pressure at that point. To go out there and practice earlier in the day, as I was walking out there, walking up to the ladder, I decided, no, you know what? It's backwards time. We're going to do it. We're going to do it backwards tonight. And, making that decision is tough because it's so unknown. But I honestly, I just think, going back through all this stuff, just knowing that I can do it, I just believed that all, things like that would just work out. And, went out there on that particular one and hit it on my second try. And unexpectedly, actually, I expected it to be a little bit further.
How many tries were you given? How much time were you given each game? And when was it during the game?
Usually fourth quarter. It was more of a pump up thing. And, I was, they had confidence that I would hit it more times than not. So they put it in the fourth quarter to really pump people up. And, if I made it, it would, people would go through the roof. But,
so you had it was like during like a timeout or something.
So during a timeout.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 minutes.
We have about 2 minutes.
Minute and a half.
2 minutes to get the ladder out there and get the ladder off. So
you really have about a minute to shoot.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. And I know we've been on this shot all night long, but that it's fascinating that so we crunched some numbers earlier last podcast. Actually, somebody commented and asked, how often did you make it? And you provided me with some stats on that. And you said that you had out of 59 games, you only didn't make it 11 games out of 59 games.
For the backwards ladder.
For the back, not the ladder. The ladder would be included in that, correct?
Okay.
Not no.
That wasn't
I
included?
would. Yeah, the ladder would be more of a separate bit.
Okay. But
so
just the going out on the floor and shooting those, it was like 59 games. There was only 11 games that you didn't make the shot. Is that correct?
yeah, that was one year that we actually kept stats.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and we crunched the math, and I just have to get this out. I'm going to acknowledge this super chat here. Third super chat from Mama Jenks. We crunched the numbers on that, and that was 81.36% of the time of the games you hit the shot. And
Wow.
you told me that your shot percentage was like 60%. I didn't know if that was like of actual times you threw the ball, but do you see what I'm saying? The breakdown there?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was games.
Was anybody
made.
betting on that? Was there bets being made on your shot?
Players,
coaches, fans,
Wow.
staff. There were so many.
Wow. A lot of times
There's
during
money
player
changing
intros,
hands.
yeah, players would come up to me during, hey, I got $500 on you tonight, so don't let me down. I'm like, sweet, no pressure.
All the regular pressure, and now that. Hey, we got a super chat from Mama Jenks, and she has a question. Proudest moment as Rocky. Ken, why don't you go first? And then for Drake, she would like to also know Drake as Rocky. What was your proudest moment as Rocky?
Proudest moment, man. I don't know about. I mean, I had some things where I did some big stunts and some big skits and things.
What about the
I don't know.
Children's Hospital? You've told me some pretty.
I think that the most impactful moments for me were with kids who were sick. Some of them terminal. And I have some moments with, Children's Hospital and in other situations where, it, left me in tears. And I think that, one, I had a girl that came out of a coma. I don't know if it was because of Rocky, but it was when I was there, and she'd been in a coma for a while, and her mother had, when I entered the room, the mother looked like she had just been through hell, and so sad. So just, you can see the anguish on her face, and she's got her little girl who's probably 8, 9, maybe, laying there in a coma. And what do you do? And so I just took the back of Rocky's hand, with the fur, and just rubbed it on the back of her hand, and her mom was there, and just saying, hey, calling her by name, and Rocky's here. Rocky is here to visit you. Open your eyes and you can see him, and everything. I'm just sitting there going, I'm getting all choked up, just feeling for her. I have young kids at the time, and man, I was aching for her. And I tell you what, after a minute and a half, 2 minutes of that, she opened her eyes.
Dang.
Slightly. She opened her eyes.
Wow.
And all of a sudden,
mom's
I burst into tears. Oh, the mother was just ecstatic. Oh my gosh. She was just, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And, but this little girl, I don't know how to describe it other than this, where she, but you know how you can tell someone's smiling, even though they're not changing the actual expression on their face.
Mhm.
I could she opened her eyes and she looked at me, and I could tell, even though she didn't really move her face, that she was smiling. I could feel a smile. And at that point, man, the nurses and doctors are rushing in, and yeah, I kind of faded into the background and watched for a little bit, and then backed out of the door, and I don't know what ever happened from there, but I was, I was a part of a lot of.
I lost your camera, Ken.
Oh, okay. Cade's working on it here.
All right, it's time for Drake to talk.
Oh,
Hey, I was going to say, Drake, why don't you go ahead and top that? Since you're used to following your dad.
Yeah, I don't know if I have. I had a lot of heartfelt moments as well. Not like bringing someone out of a coma, but
You didn't bring anybody out of a coma. Well,
didn't do that. Yeah.
Listen, but all kidding aside, Drake, what seriously though, like you had to have some special moments in there where you're like, he had 33 years to put together like these types of experiences, right? And you had a short window there. And so nobody expects you to have these experiences that he does there. But obviously you had to have some moments in that head where you were just like, man, that kid was so happy to see me at this game, or there's got to be somebody in your mind that just stuck out that you were like, I can't believe how excited they were to have an interaction with Rocky or something. You had to have those.
I did. And I went to children's hospital a lot as well. And there's a lot of moments in the crowd where, kids would come up. I mean, sometimes you'd see, parents with tears in their eyes because their kid is just so happy and hasn't been able to, it's like their first Nuggets game and they were just recovering from something. And so there were a lot of those moments. Yeah.
And there were moments where, each game we had to go up and take pictures at a booth, and man, so many people running up, so many kids running up and throwing their arms around and Rocky, I love you. I was standing off to the side.
Yeah.
At that point, watching those times.
And then a lot of times they would kind of grab you and pull you in and be like, hey, I just want to let you know, my kid, this is making their whole year. They've never been to a Nuggets game. We, had, all these things happen, and they're just like, this is the best part of their year right here. So there's a lot of those moments.
Been watching Rocky on TV and YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
There's been a few moments. There's some moments where you guys made me proud, because there's a few times that I could help somebody out, or they're coming down to go visit a game, and people, friends that knew that, okay, my brother's Rocky, or whatever the case may be, even when Drake was in costume. And then I could call down and say, hey, I know you guys are super busy, but I have some friends that are going to be there or in these seats or whatever. You guys always went out of your way to make these people feel super special. And I would get pictures and messages from them and telling me just what a moment that was for their kids. There were some times you guys were able to really pull off some really neat stuff for some friends who were able to go there. And I know you didn't do this just for me. You did this for a lot of people. Yeah. Those moments, that made me proud. I mean, I was just like, I know how busy and everything you guys had going on. And I always try to make sure that I just said, hey, like if it happens, great. If not, everybody completely understands. But anyway, you guys always came in just really I don't know, you made people feel special, way above and beyond what anybody was expecting. And I appreciate that. I know that others in our family who have asked favors of you appreciate that. It's been proud moments for us as well. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. We just realized that that's what it's all about. I mean,
that's some of the best parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kids, I'm sorry. Kids kids. Those are some of the things that kids remember at their first game. Like when we took the kids up to Edmonton to go to the Oilers game, and we got glass side seats. It was their Christmas present. And Delaney was 5, Okay. My youngest was 5 years old, and all she did is scream, "I love you, Connor McDavid," until Hunter, the Lynx, their mascot, came up to her and gave her a great big hug and hung out with her and took a bunch of pictures. And now it's like, what do you know, we talk about it all the time because we watch hockey every night, but she's like, "Remember when Hunter gave me hugs?"
Wow.
I'm like, "Well, you don't remember yelling at Connor McDavid anymore?" She's like, "No, but I remember Hunter giving me hugs." And this is just, he's the mascot, the Lynx for the Edmonton Oilers. And so those are what those kids remember, you know, going to these games. And I never went to a game when I was little, but I could imagine, having the mascot, like players come and go, but you were there for 33 years, and then Drake was there.
Yeah, people grew up with you.
Yeah. And so like, I remember going to my first game and I got a hug from Rocky, and now, I take my kids to the Nuggets game and they got a hug from Rocky. I mean, that's just something that, God, I mean, just has to feel good.
Yeah.
And something that even as a player, professional player, you don't get that connection, I think, that somebody who's inside that costume is going to get.
Yeah.
I think that's something that probably doesn't even get thought about a whole lot, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. You guys, you have connected with a ton of and adults too. I'm sure there's some big moments for adults, but I would imagine there's a ton of kids who grow up remembering, and that'd be interesting for you guys at school growing up and your friends knowing that your dad is Rocky, right? I mean, what is that like? And then did you have people reach out to you, Drake, that they're just like, "You're now Rocky"? Like, that's incredible. Like, what was that like? School and then that, both of you.
Well, my story about school, I didn't bring many people to games, but we would bring friends to games all the time because everybody knew pretty much.
Yeah.
But I did have one friend that I would bring to the game, and we would just play in the locker room. But I had this one kid, and we would go out for his performances. Like, he did a ton at games. Like, he was, everywhere. So we would watch him as much as possible. But sometimes we would just play like hide and seek in the locker room or something. And I did have a friend like stop playing. I was in middle school, and he just said, "Can we go like watch the game now?" And I was like, "What for?" He didn't ever come back to another game. But fans probably hate me telling that story. But yeah, I wasn't too into the games, but some of our friends really were.
Because it was for you, you're just like, that's just life. It's like
we would go there after school, straight from school, do our homework in the locker room, game would start, watch him perform, and then go home.
Wow. What was that like for you, Drake?
Well, we always rooted for the Nuggets. We were always, I think we just became kind of numb to it a little bit, as far as, it's like people are rarely there. We were there every other night.
Yeah.
So
work with Dad day every other day.
Yeah, and it's like, "Hey, I need your help with this skit tonight." We're like, "All right," and otherwise we're just in the back doing homework or playing games or whatever. But we would go sit out there, once in a while. But it was really fun. It was really fun. Dad was something to kind of brag about a little bit at school. We try to keep it as quiet as possible, but there's a lot of times where he got really like in good with my teachers because he'd come do a quick visit, So
nice.
Yeah.
One time my parents came and visited the teacher. It was not a good deal. That was to be avoided.
So it was really fun. And trying to remember your other question.
It was just about like, okay, when you took over, then friends that grew up with you, I mean, were they reaching out to you, and what was that like? When they're like, "Oh, man, you're Rocky,
dude, give me tickets." It's so funny that you asked that, because I wasn't really in the popular crowd in high school. I was kind of just like in the middle area, but kids that never talked to me, and then all of a sudden I'm Rocky, and they know what I'm doing now. They're like, "Hey, dude, long time no talk. Can we get some tickets?" I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah, where'd you go from?
Like, who are you? So, but no, I did have a lot of close friends that reached out and were super psyched for me. And, I actually, would bring them in to do skits with me. And it was a lot of fun. So,
wow. Talking about those moments a minute ago, I kind of wanted to segue about moments with kids and I don't know, those type of things. And I've got a slide here I want to show you, and then we're going to pull up a video. Okay, this right here, because we're going to create a moment for a big kid right in the studio with us today here. So we got this photo right here. This is Cole, all right, all decked out in his John Elway regalia.
Has nothing to do with the Denver Nuggets or Rocky.
Not yet. It's about to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
All right.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good looking kid right here. He was Mr. Did you ever dress up as John Elway for Halloween or anything? Was this Halloween?
No, this was
This
I
is
think
just
this was
Thursday.
this was a Christmas present that I got because huge Broncos fan. We had really weird in Montana. We had WGN, TBS, and then we could get Bronco football games. But I never saw a Nuggets game until we got cable. So I was a Broncos fan from like 2 years old until today. I mean, I'm still a diehard Broncos fan, but I wanted that for Christmas. And then after I wore it every day between Christmas and going back to school. And then I wore it to school as much as I could till my mom and dad are like, you can't wear the helmet to school anymore.
You can't wear the helmet to school anymore.
But I wore that.
And that jersey is too tight for you.
A little bit now. Yeah. I think I got two or three of those over the years. You know, when I was 30, I quit wearing John Elway uniform, but
yeah. So we have I've got a clip here. Let's pull up. We're going to pull up a John Elway clip, and maybe you can talk us through this one.
Okay.
For Cole's sake, we're going to tell some John Elway stories. If you can connect him to his childhood hero, John Elway, and tell us some of your experiences there. We did you had a really good story of him in our first episode.
The first episode,
42.
story.
But
yeah.
Tell us about this right here.
So of course, this is a few years ago, and
what's that like to catch a pass from John Elway?
Yeah. Oh, this one's really, clear. Oh, well, it was. Yeah. No, I tell you what, that guy can throw a ball even at his age now.
Wow.
Yeah. The first time I caught a pass from him, it was like butter. Man, I ran out there, catch that, and it was like it just sunk right into my arms. It was like somebody just laid it right there.
The fact that you caught it in costume looking through toilet paper rolls.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Right. You got that out to the side. Like,
I mean, I had pictures of Elway and Vance Johnson from back in the day when he was laying those up there in the end zone. That's how diehard I am. Nobody even remembers Vance Johnson, but I do.
Hey, you want to hear? You want to hear a quick Vance Johnson story?
Yeah, for the five of us that remember Vance Johnson.
Vance Johnson. Now he was a member of the what? Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, they called him the Three Musketeers. And so Vance Johnson was, when John Elway was young and in his prime. And yeah, I got on a plane and ended up sitting. I was on the window. There was a seat in between us, and he was sitting on the aisle. And I saw him before we got on the plane. Here I am sitting next to him. And so I lean over and I go, hey, just into the flight a little ways. I'm like, hey, I'm Ken. You're Vance Johnson. And he's like, yeah, man. Yeah. And, it goes back to whatever, he was just so cool at that point. And I said, well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Ken. I'm kind of in the same, business as you. I'm in professional sports as well. He's like, really? Oh. I'm trying to get a conversation going with him.
Are you a jockey?
I know, right? Who's this little squirt sitting next to you? And he says, he's like, oh yeah, what do you do? Just kind of like whatever. And I go, oh, well, I work for the Nuggets. I'm their mascot. He goes, dude, you're Rocky? Like lit up. And he goes, oh my gosh, dude, my wife loves you, man. And I'm like, oh, great. He goes, dude, she wants to know all the time whether you're white or whether you're a brother. And I go, well, now you know. He's like, oh man, this is awesome. I'm sitting next to Rocky. Cool, man. And he's like, dude, I gotta have you sign something, man.
That's so great. How nice
like,
is that?
What? I go, well, I have an autograph card. I've been performing in Phoenix, so I have some autograph cards here. Would she want one? So yeah, dude, will you sign this to my wife and everything? And I'm like, well, yeah, could you sign the back of another one for me? He's like, oh yeah. I said, I usually don't ask for autographs and stuff. He goes, what? Why? He goes, you have to ask for every autograph you can. He goes, when your kids get older and find out who you were around, they're going to kill you if you don't get as many autographs.
He does have a point.
Yeah. And then he goes, we're all doing it, man. He says, I'm running up to Montana, Joe Montana, every game. I'm there, man. Hey, can you sign this for my cousin or, my cousin's kid or, whatever. He goes, we all do it. I know, right? I didn't know
how nice
that.
is that to be in that business and to go around and put each other up on pedestals. That's how it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an eye opener for me. Then to finish that out, I got to tell you this part. So that was back when the phone was in the back of the seat on the plane, had the little cord or whatever. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden we're about to come into land, and all of a sudden he's like, boom, and he just grabs the phone out of the blue, and he's like, and I hear him. I'm listening in as much as I can. He goes, yeah, hey baby, coming into land and getting home. I'll be home soon, whatever. He goes, but guess who I'm sitting next to? He goes, I'm sitting next to Rocky. Yeah, from the Nuggets. Yeah.
Like she knew right away.
Yeah.
That's all, not Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
Right. He goes, no, I'm not going to tell you what color he is.
Oh, how great is that?
Yeah. We landed, and he's like, man, so good to meet you. Yeah, if you ever need anything, you call me, man.
Yeah.
And,
Was his wife there to pick you guys up? Were you guys on your way back here? Did you get to meet her?
No, I didn't meet her.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
that is so great.
Lance, if you're listening, say hello to your wife for me.
That's incredible. Drake, did you have any memorable type of celebrity run-ins? What do you got?
Oh, well, my first All-Star game, I ran into Megan Fox and MGK. So that was pretty awesome.
What?
Yeah. I was on the court and it was halftime, and I saw they were sitting courtside and they were walking towards me. I was like, I gotta say hi. And so MGK comes up, he's like, what's up, dude? And she was kind of like, I was like, hi anyway. I gave her a quick hug.
You can get away with that in costume, right?
Yeah. And then
a guy who just comes up and says hi anyway and grabs her.
Yeah.
Hugs her.
And then and I ran to Bill Murray at that same All-Star game. Yep. He was sitting courtside right on the corner where we'd come on and off. I was like, hey, Bill Murray. I gave him a quick hug. And so that was cool.
Bring it in, Bill. Bring it in.
Yeah. And then my most favorite moment was with catching a pass from Peyton Manning. So his was John Elway and Peyton Manning, but mine was Peyton Manning. So yeah, that was fun.
Wow. How did you make that happen? I mean, do you plan it with him, or do you just take him a football?
Nope. I took him a football at the end of a timeout. So it was very quick because they was like, I was trying to bring it out there and they're like, no, let's not do it. And then the last minute, they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And so he's sitting courtside. I run over, have him sign a football as the players are coming back on the court. And so I run across the court and start running along the sideline of the court. And he throws it right in between all the players. And I dive and catch it. Doesn't hit a player. It was so smooth. And then 10 seconds later, game starts. So it was so quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened with that football?
I punted it. Yeah,
Oh my goodness!
I gave it out to someone. So yeah, it was awesome.
Wow. You didn't have like another one like nearby that you could do like some type of sleight of hand.
I know.
Pump the
We
blank
thought
one.
about it a lot of times.
You should have got a
I used
football
to-
that had written on there like "sucka," and just like some little sleight of hand, and punt that thing into the crowd. Somebody grabs
Right.
it and then like makes their way to the exit, gets all the way out to the parking lot to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a football signed by his son. I still have that one.
Yeah.
So hopefully he becomes famous.
This is where Cade came in. This is where one game. So was it that game?
Yeah.
So he was sitting there with his son behind the opposing team bench.
His son loves Rocky. We've actually visited his school. He had us come to his school a few times.
And a birthday party at his house.
Party at his house.
Is this in Colorado or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So he's moved to Colorado from wherever. Okay.
Yeah, he lives. Yeah, not too far.
This is why you're still playing though.
Was it?
Yeah.
But anyways, he's sitting there with his son, and we have a big football, and then we have like this little silver football. And right before we go out, I was like, "What if you just like go to the sun instead?" So Drake, we have good footage of this, but Drake goes out there, and he's going to Peyton, and then
He's
to,
like, yeah, I'll
to
sign
his
it.
like
He's like, I'll
10-year-old
sign
son, and the 10-year-old like lit up, and oh my gosh, and he signed it. And it's like so weird looking. But he was like, "Okay, yep, good, got it. You want not mine."
Yeah.
It was so funny.
I
He's
think
Yeah.
I'll buy it for my son, and that's never
He's-
happened.
The footage is so funny of Peyton reaching for the ball.
He's like, actually, no, cool. He's like,
and he's like,
Yeah, I'm used to this.
And so as he goes, he's like, and just hands it right to his son.
Oh my god!
Peyton's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Then what happened to that? And then what happened to that football? Oh, you kept that football. That one you didn't punt.
we came back out, had Peyton sign a ball, give it away, but
Yeah.
we kept
Kept that
what is
one.
his name? Marshall.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep. So hopefully he becomes famous someday.
Yeah, no, we keeping tabs on him. We're following him on the gram, seeing how his practices are
Yeah.
looking.
That guy's first signature.
Hey, someday you could be like, hey, bum him up for some seats and be like, hey, remember the autograph? Remember?
Yeah.
You owe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there was a question in the chat from a little bit ago. Chris asked, "Do you?" And then I'm guessing this is for Ken. Do you miss getting into the suit and entertaining the world?
Ooh,
The world.
The world.
The world.
World. Dun, dun.
I
Epic
do.
question.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people ask me that all the time, and yeah, how could I not? You know,
Yeah.
it was, and I've said this as well. This may sound really goofy, but I don't care. You can say things when you're old, and people just don't care. But I got to the point where I felt really comfortable in that skin. I felt more comfortable in that skin than I did in my own skin. I mean, honestly, to have that kind of swagger and to have that, I could communicate just fine in costume without using any words. And, just to be inside there was, just magic happening all the time, just putting smiles on people's faces and things like that, and then being able to pull off a bit where the crowd roars and you get that charge of electricity. It's how do you not miss that?
No, yeah.
Yeah. And it must be nice when is it kind of a taste of that then when you're doing these things in Europe? You're traveling every so often, all of a sudden I find out that you're not even in the country, you're at some other European event, kind of moonlighting or subcontracting, or I'm not sure. I don't know what type of deals you're
contract
or what you're up to. He's like a private operator, special forces of
yeah.
mascots, man. He
Subletting
just
a-
gets dropped
subletting a
into
mascot.
countries. He dips in, he dips out. Nobody knows it's really him.
Yeah, something like that. Well, no, it's still fun. I mean, I get to just, still entertain. It's a blast.
And then there's like some Romanian doesn't even know. They're just like, they don't know. They got super mascot Rocky right there, you know, and
yeah, the most famous mascot.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you can still see you in that character and it's still you. Like, how hard is that to go from this character to a different character and not bring that same persona over?
Yeah, you know, my buddy Scott.
That super chat, Mama Jags. We're getting to that.
Okay, yeah. So
Go
we've
ahead,
got so on that gig, I actually go over there. A friend of mine who has been a professional mascot or a NBA mascot for a couple different teams. Scott has he basically hires me. That's his contract or whatever. He hires me. We go over there together and we kind of tag team the character. And so he's kind of putting his spin on it and everything. And it's a monkey. So, you know, to make that transition, it was tough. But
with that monkey, I was like, oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just trying to make the comment that it seems like that with that costume, though, you've got a lot of freedom. A lot of mascot costumes, it can be burdensome, I think, but you have a little bit of freedom with that. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, much better, much better vision. And
wow.
Yeah, a lot better mobility. However, yeah, to change up the personality a little bit, I still have the same swagger, but to change up the movements and the yeah, it's a little different. Every once in a while he'll be like, "Hey man, I see Rocky coming out again." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be hard not to. I mean,
I have the clip.
do you have that clip? Yeah. Oh, we have a clip. We'll bring that up. And while we're bringing that up, we'll do this clip first. Okay. All right. This is Luigi.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh. Now be honest. What's the pain level there? Is this practiced? Is this what's going on, man? We just want to know.
Well, after doing that for 33 years,
he loves doing that. He would do it all over the arena on the railings, way up high on the third level. Yeah, he loves doing that. I think he's pretty good at it.
I've gotten to where I can pull that off without getting hurt. I tell you, one time I got really hurt was in London. One time I did that. Normally I was used to, you know, rails that are pretty thin. I did it I learned don't do it on a rail that's, you know, that round. Oh my gosh, you cannot twist and catch a cheek. Nope, it is full on straight down wham.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, that one I really I about threw up in costume that one.
Drake, is that one of the stunts that you took over as well?
That's one I avoided a little bit. But
they're like, wow, Rocky hasn't dropped onto a rail in a long time.
I was like, I'm not trying to do that too much. Yeah. But the one I did have to stick to was the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Oh man, every Christmas, right?
That was the one that stuck and had to stay, and I had to do it every year.
All right, we're gonna pull that clip up. Was it always just the game right before Christmas?
I switched it up.
It was like closest to Christmas.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull that up, but really quick. Let's go to this. We're gonna go to our super chat. Mama Jenks. We're not forgetting Mama Jenks. Great questions tonight. She's leading the super chats. Who was your favorite NBA player interaction? This time, Drake, you go first. Who's your favorite NBA player interaction while we're loading up that next clip?
Favorite was probably I have a few, but as a kid growing up, my favorite was probably meeting Shaq up in the weight room. Like, I think it was before a game. Yeah, he was up in the weight room, and my dad took us all up there, and grabbing his hand was like grabbing I don't know.
Giant, yeah.
Yeah, giant. And so that was really cool. My other favorite interactions was probably
it was him and Kobe.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Him and Kobe. So that was really cool. My other favorite interactions while I was Rocky was probably Jokic. He was probably my favorite. Nicest guy, funniest guy. He would always, I have a video of him like tackling me and pulling me onto the ground and then holding me there while all the kids came over and started beating on me. Like, he was just the funniest guy.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Ken?
Hands down, overall, Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
We had a lot of interactions. Yeah.
Yeah. We went into our so the first podcast episode we did, number 42. Anybody, if you want to go back and look at that and just go into our previous episodes, we have tons of good stories of there with Charles Barkley. And you can also just go on YouTube and look up Rocky and Charles Barkley. There is a slew of great clips of the good old days, and you guys really seem to have a rapport. Are you still in contact with him, or what's been your friendship over the years? What's that been like?
Well, every time I saw him, we would chat and everything. In the playoffs in 2023, we
this was another Cade idea. I think where you're taking me, right?
Yep.
Another Cade idea. Tell us about that. What happened there?
Yeah, we were trying to come up with a bit. We knew he was going to be in town with TNT, and so Cade said, "Why don't you do a jersey exchange?" So we did. We got a game-worn Rocky jersey, and we made a Charles Barkley jersey, had it made, and so last minute. Anyways, talked to him before the game, and back in the back with everybody around him, all the other TNT celebrities and everything. And yeah, he was great. We just chatted for a while, and
yeah, he was. Well, I was able to go back there with him to like prep, rehearse, whatever, just back there, and he was super excited to do something with you.
Yeah,
and he,
yeah, that had to be kind of like, because he's now been retired for several years. That had to be kind of man, I get to do this again and be out on that court goofing around and do this, because he was a showman.
Yeah, he understood that this is entertainment. He understands that. He gets it. And these players that take themselves too seriously just make me crazy. He never took himself too serious. He always was interacting with fans and, never set himself up above people.
Did the dynamic with the players change over the years? Do you find, or are players just players?
Players are players, but they did over the years. Yeah, it's evolved. They come in, they get some, they come in humble, they get some money, and it changes them most times. Jokic, not so much. And there's some other players that have held out, and I love like LaFonso Ellis. He's a great example of somebody that's never took himself too serious, family man, and good dude.
Did you guys find that being the highest paid mascots in the world changed you at all? At $625,000 a year, reportedly, allegedly, did that change you?
As soon as I heard that, yeah, it definitely changed me.
Were you like, where's that getting deposited?
Like, wow, they owe me some back pay.
I had the idea to start giving it away. I made extremely realistic Rocky bucks that were $100 bills.
Yeah,
and we would.
That's right. That's right. You guys were handing out Rocky bucks at games.
Yeah. We were told not to.
Yeah. You were told not to. You didn't want anybody thinking about salaries. That viral clip.
Yeah. I would sneak him out of my pocket every now and then and give him a lump to just throw out.
It's so funny, that viral video some guy makes, right? He just makes up some, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the salary was. I don't. So, but I know that guy didn't know either. So, but that thing just took off, and then it started a whole trend of everybody making their version of that. And I've had a thought on that, and I think I was talking with Zach. Was that you, Zach? I was talking. Okay, we were talking about this, and in that, this is one thing that is going to be historical. And I'll say this, because 20 years from now, 30 years from now, who knows who's going to be a mascot of what and how big and important they're going to be. But you guys were known as the highest paid mascots in the world at one time. And that's on the internet forever. That's
Right.
just gonna stick.
Another
When
one.
somebody else is, yeah, you know, and some other guy who's gonna go out there who's inspired by Rocky's legacy and by the viral videos of, you know, who goes out there and does huge epic things. It really doesn't. I was thinking about this. It really doesn't matter what somebody goes out there and does, because you own on the internet that you were the best mascot in the world and the highest paid. Why? Because nobody puts as much energy in it as Rocky and blah, 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 blah. That's out there. That's in the ether forever now. And that's going to be really hard for somebody else to overcome.
It is.
You know, that, you know, a lot of my peers hated that. They still just, they hate that. However, there are two that I know of that are praising that because they got raises off of it. Yeah, other mascots in the NBA got raises
After that came out, and they're like,
yeah,
that
thank
gave
you.
them negotiating clout.
They called me.
They're
Thank you,
like,
man.
And all the others are like, can't figure it out how to use that angle, are just like bitter.
Oh yeah.
And they're sitting at the bar every other Thursday night going like, I know that guy. He does. I know, you know, they're trying to tell somebody something else other than that, right? Like, I've met with that guy at the Mascot convention many a times. I've seen what he drives. You know, they're trying to
Is there such
downplay you
thing
or something.
as a mascot convention?
There is a mascot convention every year.
No way.
Conference.
Tell us about the mascot convention.
Yeah, it's
Where's that at?
the NBA mascots started that. Now each league, they do their own mascot conference. But
Wow.
we get together and we talk about skits, all kinds of skits, whether it's a skit or a stunt or a fourth quarter hype type of skit, whether it's stuff in the crowd. We talk about.
So you guys share. It's a lot of collaboration.
Yeah. What we're getting paid for appearances, what we're getting, you know, what we're doing at appearances, what we're, you know, charity events, you know. Yeah, we
have your own little mascot union.
Right? We should. We always talk about that, but yeah.
Wow.
So was there over the years, was there any ever like, so like Benny the Bull might have done this, I got to do this, you know, was there that like, I got to one up this mascot, or
he did it this way and I'm going to try to do it better.
I'm going to try to do it that way. Or look what the Philly, what is he? Philly the Philly or whatever for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he did that in the crowd the other day. I'm gonna have to go do this as soon as the Nuggets start playing. You know, was there stuff like that going on? You know, was that one up you, or you were trying to get somebody was trying to one up Rocky, or?
Well, I don't think that we're actually trying to one up. At first, that was the fear of getting together and sharing. We were like, well, geez, we're giving away our secrets and stuff like that. But what we found immediately is that the more we shared, the better we did. The bar was raised for appearance. You know, just what we were doing.
You learn from each other.
Yes.
Yeah. And at conference, they would also host awards. So you would get awards for a certain stunt or a certain skit or a certain video. So when somebody earns an award for something, you don't necessarily try to one up that or copy doing that.
And that's like voted on by your peers, like other mascots.
Yeah, we would show, everybody shows their videos and things like that. But, I do have to there are people copying, or I'll get somebody calling me saying, hey man, so on that bit, how did you pull off this part of it? Or what did you use? Or where did you get that? Or, the ladder, now there's, 4 or 5 other guys out there that have the ladders that have, reached out to me. Where'd you get that? And, what's your technique and things like that. So there's other guys doing it now. And I will tell you something funny. Way back in early mid 90s, there was I think it was the All-Star game in Utah. And I was we were going home the next day or whatever. I was talking to the Bear, and John, he says, yeah, man, I'm thinking about, and we were talking about skits and stuff. I'm thinking like tomorrow at the game or on Friday or whenever it was, I'm thinking about doing a cake in the face. You know, I'm going to smash somebody with a cake. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. That's great. That's a great idea. And, you know, we were talking about how you would do it and blah, blah, blah. Well, I got home. I'm like, the thing I had planned either wasn't as good or somehow it didn't work out or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm going to do a cake in the face. Well, so when you talk to John about this, he will go off on this, because that night I made ESPN and he didn't. So I made Sports Center and he didn't, and we did the exact same thing that night.
So what year was that? What year was that?
I was like 95, 96, something around
Okay.
there.
I was trying
90. Yeah.
Now we have a different clip pulled up, but now I want to pull that clip up. We got that clip?
Yep.
Our guy. We got a guy. Our guy's on it.
Got a guy.
We got a Cade.
So
we used to call him a Jamie, but we're calling him a Cade.
Called him a Cade. Talking about Jamie, or not, he got me going. The bear, Jazz. The bear. So JT, you know JT.
Yeah.
He's like a huge jazz guy because he's from Utah. And
yeah.
I think he knew the dude that was the mascot for for the Jazz. So
right on.
He's super stoked that we're talking about him.
Right on. Right on. We have a cake in the face, a special one to my heart. We're gonna pull that clip up. Oh, that guy right there. This is, look at that. Look at that right there. Who's that good looking dude? That's Milo in about 2001 or 2002. It was like January of like 2000.
Can you play that one again?
2002, I want to say.
And again.
Yeah. Look at this. Oh. Okay.
And look, he's got a broken arm too.
I got a broken arm. I broke my arm snowboarding, and I had to take 6 weeks off of work or something like that. And so I drove one-armed to Colorado. I was like, I got some time off. I just got my arm in a sling, and I just drove for like 12 or 13 hours or something to get up there. And Ken was like, hey, dude, I got to do a skit tonight. Dude, how do you want to take a cake to the face?
like, how would it be to cake a guy that has a broken arm?
Oh man! And here's another cake to the face right here. All right, tell us the story behind that one right there. Who's that?
So that is me sitting there as a Wizards fan. Yep.
Oh, that's so great.
Drake.
How was that, Drake, to put a pie in the old man's face?
Well, I hit him harder than I probably should have, but it was a lot of payback.
Was he like back in the hallway? Be like, that was excessive.
It's funny. He was like, that wasn't very hard. But then my boss was like, you hit your dad a little hard there, a little too hard. And I was like, did I?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like it looked really hard.
This brings up a good question that I have, and I know this is a question you probably get a lot. Okay, but let's go ahead and let's bring up the bear. This lady. This is another famous viral clip that's out there, and we're gonna bring this clip up. I'm not sure which one that one is, but
number 13.
Hey, so your buddy who knows him, I mean,
JT from
JT, yeah. If you know John, maybe
Viking meadery here. Oh,
maybe
sorry.
Go ahead.
I talked all over you, dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say that again.
I was just going to say JT. Maybe I'll talk Milo into having John on here.
That'd be cool.
Hey, we have openings on the calendar. we'll try to find. I mean, we'll try to find an opening. Yeah. We're pretty booked up, but we'll make time and for your people like you have my people, because I owe you. Okay.
You need to send it to me though, because he'll look at it and be like, "Oh, we'll get to it," and then he never does. I have to do the scheduling.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at following through on some things. Okay, let's talk. This is a pretty good one right here.
Oh,
Let's
man,
see
this
this
one
clip
was
for one
viral.
time through. Let's watch this one time through. And then I want you to tell us what happened here. I want you to tell what really happened. The music makes this video. And unfortunately, we cut the music. She turned down your first offer. So you
Mhm.
upped it, but it didn't seem to impress. So here we go. Size is everything, apparently.
Yep.
Oh, and it freezes up. Okay, you smash this big old bear on this lady. Tell us the story behind this. Who is this lady and how did this come to pass?
Well, I had these bears sitting in the back for a while, just on the occasion. And sure enough,
This clip has millions of views, by the way.
oh yeah. So yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try this tonight. And yeah, first try, I bring this girl who I had seen sitting there just kind of smugly,
So you
not
didn't
like,
know her. This is my question. How many of these things are plants?
well,
was she a plant?
obviously you were a plant.
I was a
And
plant.
then there's another clip on there of me hitting Janelle.
Yes.
Yep. And because that was one of my first, heck, that was probably the one that went viral. That was probably the one, viral. That's probably the one that hit ESPN.
Back in the good old days of viral.
Back in the day.
Before viral was viral.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was, Sports Center was viral then.
The top 10. Sports Center top 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
But this chick wasn't a plant.
no.
Yeah.
No.
She was just, just in the crowd.
So I had these bears. Yeah. And, standing by just in case. I had the idea and, it was, so yeah, she refused. So I was like, oh, all right.
Because you hand her a little Rocky doll at first, right? She's like, oh,
she's like, nah, I don't really need that. Yeah.
How genuine is that now? That makes that even better that she actually did. Because I thought that was all set up. I've seen that clip. I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
I thought that was a setup. Her turning
Every
down
Valentine's Day. Yeah. And you know what is so I got to tell you a funny story about that. That was used at the NBA league meetings as a what not to do. Yeah.
The commissioner didn't like it, huh?
No. Because
goodness.
Yes, because
this is the good stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. We're diving deep because that was against the no means no.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're trying to ruin everything.
Yep.
Wow.
And yeah. And that nothing's ever good enough for
that is the problem. I'm telling you right now. That's why it's hard to watch. We were just talking about this the other day. It's hard to watch some professional sports now with that kind of how woke they've gone on some things. And they just take things and it's like we get the spirit of it, but you just take it so far. You take it too far. And wow, that doesn't surprise me. I guess I normally would anticipate that one. It would be like, this is what they're probably how they would have seen this, but I didn't even think about it.
I didn't either.
Wow.
Yeah, I was totally shocked. I'm like, wait.
That's just a good feel good clip. And you're like, I'm just trying to impress her. I'm just trying to impress her. Like, yes, look how I just went so big to impress her. That's what that is. That's not no means no. That's I'm trying to impress you. Anyway.
Right.
Yep. So
and go ahead. Cool.
Could you get fined by the NBA for doing something you weren't supposed to do?
So many times.
You got fined?
So many. Oh yeah, so many times.
I'm like, you didn't pull a Sharpie out of your shoe like Terrell Owens and sign stuff and then get fined later for it. But you could get fined just like NBA players, huh?
Oh yeah. And I did.
You have been.
Yeah.
You have been.
So Westbrook. One time with Westbrook, I don't like Westbrook.
Now we're rolling.
Yeah. Now we're getting in. Yeah. He blocked a shot of mine one time, and this is the whole Westbrook.
Backwards half court.
Yeah, my backwards half court shot. He went out there and swatted it or grabbed it, pulled it out of the air, and threw it into the crowd. And I'm like, oh, and at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is a bit. This is so, he's playing into this, and we're gonna take this. We're gonna run with this. This is another Barkley in the making. And so I'm walking off the court, like eyeing him, like you're going down, punk. And so I saw him about a week later. A week later, I was in Oklahoma City at their mascot's birthday party, and I saw him after the game at a table at a restaurant, and I went over there. I tried to talk to him, and I was like, man, I'm Rocky. I played Rocky, and man, dude, you blocked that. That was great. And
you're thinking, you're the guy who gets it.
Yeah. And I'm like, so if you want to continue, if you want to, whatever, if you get, anything you want to continue with, and he's like, he had just gotten his meal or whatever, and he just looked at me like, I'm gonna kill you, and didn't respond to me, didn't say anything, just looked at me with this disdain, and then went back to eating.
He never said a thing.
I was like, okay, good talk. Yeah, walked off.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Westbrook. And okay, so that's behind the scenes, but at a game, another time, they tell me, they warn me, don't go near Westbrook, because Oklahoma City, they're really like, fine happy, and they complain all the time about everything. Well, I went out there and I did a bit with a shirt on that says "I'm was stupid," and I was doing this with the referee. Well, so as I'm walking off the court, I'm not even looking, but I bump into somebody, and I turn around. It's Westbrook, and he just unleashes this filth out of his mouth. Get the, he's just like, blankety blank, 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 get out of here. And right next to the fans, kids sitting right there. And he's just unleashing this filth out of his mouth at me. And so I just grabbed my shirt and was like, geez. And walked off,
Yeah.
Yep. $7,500. Boom.
Oh, wow. Because they told you to stay away from him.
Yeah. He bumped into me.
Yeah.
He bumped into me. Like he literally got in my way. Look at the video.
Oh, here it is right here. Is that it? Here it is. We got a guy. We got a Cade.
Oh my gosh. That's
all right. Okay.
Oh,
fine.
Oh.
Yeah, that was right after I did the whole, yeah.
And you're like right there with the shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And now he plays for
Yep, and now he plays for the Nuggets. I'm not there.
And now he plays for the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah. This season.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, $7,500. And I was never allowed to wear that shirt ever again.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible. What a jerk.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's why some guys get it and some guys don't. That's why there's good guys like Charles Barkley who understand what this is all about. And then there's guys like that.
I just think it adds to the game to get it. To be one of those, I mean, I don't know why you would be like that I don't know.
Yeah, especially, hey, okay, if you don't like the mascot, you don't like, then don't go out there and interfere with his gig out there.
Right.
Like if you're going to insert yourself, be willing to, now you gotta play, man. So if you're going to insert yourself into this guy's business,
play the game.
You got to play the game.
Yeah.
If not, sit on the sidelines. Sit on the sidelines. Sit over there and be grumpy.
Right.
Whatever.
Were the Nuggets winning that game?
Here's the man, King Charles. This guy got it. Oh man, I wish our videos were playing smoother. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Boom. He just tackles. Yeah.
Even the refs were getting on it.
Oh yeah.
So I do have to mention this right here. I don't know how this came. It doesn't look like a normal super chat, but I know this is our guy. This is our guy, Shelby Burrows, who is a super chatter. So I don't know how this came through kind of like that, but he says Shiba Dog saying good job while raising his thumbs up. On he was talking about a story about what we were talking about just previously. So appreciate that. Shelby chiming in, Mr. Burrows.
Shelby.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I could sit here and hear these stories. Like, I mean, Cade or Drake, did you have anything like that where you were just like, wow, like this guy? I mean, I hate to get on the negative, but that is what we all want to know.
I'm trying to think if I had anything negative with any players, because I wasn't even allowed to go to our players anymore after he retired. I wasn't even allowed to go near our bench. So
Wow.
They really clamped down.
yeah, after he was gone, they shut down everything. I couldn't go to our players. I couldn't go to other players.
Oh, okay. So all the stuff we weren't able to talk about in the beginning is all starting to make sense now.
Yep. And so
Somebody, this is why we can't have nice things.
yep, exactly. Yeah, he created a lot of rules for mascoting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of what we call rocky rules.
Rocky rules.
Yeah.
Can't do a
That's
lot
incredible.
of stuff.
Yeah,
But-
can't stand on the rim anymore. You can't be on the opposing team's side of the court while they are being introduced.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like half the job of a mascot.
I wish we had that clip pulled up of the Lakers. Right?
Yeah.
Pictures out there.
Yeah, there's
That's
some
why.
pictures there as well.
Because of all the weird stuff you did during intros.
Yeah.
I remember the time you took like a camping chair or something and you set it up right in the Lakers
Where they
intro, and Kobe Bryant comes out, right? Tell me that story, right?
Yeah. So I did that with the Lakers twice. The second time I did that, I set up a toilet on the court and sat there and read the
While
newspaper.
they're being announced, they're going to run out, and right in the way of where they run out, you've set up a toilet.
Right in that path, right at the end of their path where they would run out and then huddle. Yeah. Just before
Was that
they started
Did you
getting
have a
introduced.
newspaper or anything?
I walked out there with a real toilet, set it on the court, and then sat there and read the newspaper. Yeah, that's when the rule came out. Can't do that anymore.
But the funny thing is, they were such a good sport about it. Like
So-
Kobe and the Lakers, they
got it.
They had a good time with it.
Yeah, they loved it. In fact, that's when they got around. They're like, Kobe was like, "Come on, guys, let's go around him," and they did their little
Around you.
around me.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm remembering that. I've
I
seen
bet
that
there's
clip.
a clip of that somewhere.
I think we've got it. It's buffering. All right.
Well, why that's buffering. Kyle Ray wants to know, now that you guys are no longer with Ball Arena, in your opinion, who's the best mascot at Ball Arena? Who else has one at Ball?
So there is Bernie, the mascot for the Avalanche, your second favorite team.
No, not even my second. Obviously, he didn't do a very good job because I never even paid attention that the Avs had a mascot when I was there a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
But Edmonton did win, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I think it was 5.
There you go. There you go. Edmonton. And then there is the lacrosse mascot, Wooly,
For the
The
Mammoth.
Mastodon.
the Mammoth.
Or the Mammoth. The Mammoth.
Do we have any more? At Ball?
Not more than that.
No. So I would between
Doesn't
those
Denver have-
two.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, between those two, I would have to say probably Vicky.
Actually, between those three.
Vicky Ray. I'm just kidding. she's a super fan. No, probably Wooly. I'd have to say Wooly. Yeah. I've seen that guy in front of a sold out crowd with a full on thong.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's lacrosse for you, though.
Yeah, that's lacrosse.
That's a wild crowd.
Man.
Yeah.
That's
It's kind of like arena football, lacrosse to me.
He did do he did do a skit with the song Wrecking Ball.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Was he riding it in his underwear? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
String hanging from the rack.
big old rope hanging from the rafter.
They didn't clip him in for that either. That was a crazy one. Mm-mm.
Wow. Let's see if we got this Lakers queued up now. Is this that intro of where they
That's
jump on
actually
Oh, this is the old John Elway clip. Is this the okay?
no, okay, so this is the first time.
Okay, you got like a camping chair there.
Yeah.
And they
Yep.
just come out and pat you on the head.
Yep.
Ignore you.
And now you're not allowed to do that anymore.
No.
That's
No
such
one in
crap.
the league is.
Oh, wow. But
They're-
they played it up. And that made a moment for the crowd.
So
Yep.
awesome.
Then they
How
just
great is
disperse
that?
and- Yeah.
That was during the playoffs even.
2008.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Those are some times. Now you're banned from going even on their side of the court.
Yeah. No mascot can be on that side of the court during their introductions.
You know, I don't know. Maybe the
Gosh.
heydays of mascoting are over. They take the fun out of everything.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty fun mascots.
I'm not saying they're not good mascots, but they're
Oh.
definitely like limited and nerfed, and like they make it harder for them to just do what guys used to be able to really do, you know?
Yeah.
And so hats off to those guys who are still in there, putting up with the bureaucracies, putting up with the guys up above who don't, get the picture. I mean, they're just protecting their butts as far as like, oh, I don't want to, my guy who doesn't understand things, I don't want to risk anything. When you're trying to be down there on the court and stand out and make moments for people, can't do that by just playing it safe all the time.
But he can't do this anymore either.
Yeah.
Through that.
Yeah.
So were you the longest tenured mascot? You're
In the
33
NBA.
In the
Yeah.
NBA.
Yeah. The gorilla had, we're about the same. He took a few years off there in the middle and whatever, but
Mhm.
between he and I, about the same.
Are you loading up a clip over there?
Yeah. Go.
Okay. All right.
How are you getting this stuff?
This is a never.
Yeah.
Back that up. Let's back that up a little bit. See if we can get that clear. It's not the front. You're hot tubbing it right there. You're in there with the honeys.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Yeah. That was so fun. Yeah. You
So
wanna
were there
hear
any yeah, I want to hear about that. I think yeah, you were not allowed to do that, correct?
No.
I think we did talk about this in our previous episode. So let's talk about, because we didn't have the clip last time. Walk us through
Okay.
that. What happened?
Well, so the very first time it was a halftime. They were bringing mascots in. It was mascot night or whatever. So, of course, I got to go there. It's in the same building, same owner, same everything. But when you get invited, I shouldn't put it that way. When you get invited to mascots' birthdays, you usually go. So it was mascot night, mascot birthday or whatever. And here I am running around playing lacrosse, and I see this hot tub on the other side of the glass. Got done with the game, and everybody's supposed to make their way off. And I'm like, nope. I ran for that glass. Yeah, most of the mascots were off, and I stayed out there. Ran for it, put my foot up there, hopped up, grabbed the top of the glass there, and pulled myself up, sat on the glass, and the announcer picked up on it right away. And he's like, "Whoa, Rocky, what are you doing, man?" And I'm like, pointing at the hot tub. He's like, "You going for the hot tub?" Yep. Place went nuts. And so, yeah, I went and jumped in there and splashed around for a little bit. Got out, and after so I don't know, the next day or whatever, I got all kinds of heat for that. And it's in the office, and I was, you can't do that ever again. That was a huge risk, not only for you, but for the girls in the hot tub. And not to mention, we have all kinds of electrical, all over the place. And, that could have, yeah.
Well, you would
Oh,
you get in there and splash.
yeah. And so I was splashing the fans and everybody, just, mayhem.
But nobody got electrocuted.
Nobody got electrocuted. So, yeah. So they said, yeah, never again. And so the next year it's coming around, and they reminded me, don't go in the hot tub. You got to stay away from the hot tub and all that. I'm like,
Stay out of the hot
okay,
tub.
sure. And as we're about to go out and play lacrosse for the halftime, I hear this, again, from way behind me down the hall. Hey, Rocky, stay out of that hot tub. I turn around. I don't know who this guy is. He's in a suit. I don't know who he is. So I gave him the furry flip off, and
You're at backstage.
I'm backstage. So, 4-finger flip off, and come to find out, that was the general manager of the team.
Oh, of the Mammoth?
Of the Mammoth. And yeah. So needless to say, I went out there and jumped in it again that night. And from then on, it was, I never heard about it again. And from then on, it became a thing. You're getting in the hot, you're going to do it, right? You're going to, and yeah, then it was from the next, from then on, it was encouraged. And man,
they're just telling the electricians, wrap everything double with electrical tape.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what they did.
Wow.
So, again, don't tell me no.
I got one more favorite clip I want to pull up here. Let's pull up number 19. Tell us, I want to get your take on. I have a bunch of clips, but some of them, because they aren't loading so smooth, I had a bunch I wanted you to walk us through and talk about. But this one right here is one of my favorites. It's an older one, and it's the one where it's brought up by, I don't know what this channel was, but it's when you're doing Pee Wee football. I love this. You know which one I'm talking about with the Pee Wee football?
Yeah.
And where's that kid today? He's probably in therapy or something.
He's still recovering.
Yeah. He's in
probably sees you in his nightmares.
Uh-huh.
And all of his friends are like, man, did you guys know that Rocky the Mountain Lion's the highest paid mascot in the world? And he's like, that guy laid me out. Okay. Well, hopefully it'll load smoothly. If not, we'll play it through a couple of times. I love this clip. And I love how snarky this
Hey guys, welcome to The Fumble. I'm Crystal Marie. When he's not falling lifelessly from rafters or making surprise political endorsements, Denver Nuggets mascot Rocky also loves getting after it on the football field. He showed as much during the Denver Broncos preseason tilt with the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, man,
the only problem with that, he was playing against...
Okay, it's like having a hard time going. It's probably because I got so many things streaming here. What year is this, Ken?
Okay, so this is probably 2010.
Really?
Yeah, probably 2000.
No, it was after that. It was probably like 2015.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, later on. Yeah, 2015, 16.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. And all right, let's play this.
I was showed this clip.
As part of
I was just gonna say, I was showed this clip when I did my first Broncos game and was told, don't do this.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, let's go ahead.
the big game's halftime entertainment, players from a youth football league took the field against mascots, one of which took things perhaps a bit too far. laying his opponent out, then giving him a Karate Kid taunt.
At the Denver Broncos game, the Denver Nuggets mascot levels a kid out of bounds. Broncos game, the Denver Nuggets mascot levels a kid out of bounds and then stands over the top of him. Denver Broncos game, the Denver Nuggets mascot levels a kid out of bounds and then stands over the top of him and then does the karate kick, crane kick stance.
Oh, was that kid a good sport, or what was the backlash there?
Oh man, it was crazy. Those kids are vicious. I'm telling you.
They go hard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care that you can't see. They don't.
And they
care.
talk trash.
Oh yeah,
They're mean.
yeah.
So they're hitting you guys
And
hard.
they're our same size, pretty much. You know, they're a little bit smaller, a little bit. You know, but we go out there, and that kid had it coming. So, but
Oh my gosh.
they were all good sports. They were all having fun with it. And in the back afterwards, you know, they're all in the locker room, and I went around there with costumes still on and everything, and they're just like, you know, oh man, you're gonna get it next year, man. You're gonna get it. You know, just
Oh man.
yeah.
So it was all in good fun, and that kid,
It was all
I
in
mean,
good fun.
he was cool
Yeah.
afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny how the media takes that. I mean, and of course the fans, they loved it, you know.
Yeah. Hey, if I was the media, I'd have done the same thing with that clip. So I got to hand it to him. That was the way to present that. Made it memorable.
Damn right.
Yeah.
So glad
They
the
did.
kid was
They
a good
did.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how she starts that with, you know, when he's not passing out, you know,
Hanging from the
Yeah.
rafters.
hanging from the rafters, or, you know, making an appearance at a political rally.
Yeah. I know. They go right for the dirt, right?
Smashing kids
or
over
what-
here.
Yeah. And that's like a whole nother set of stories there. It's like, you know, I know you've been doing a lot of podcasts, and there's a lot of great interviews out there, and a lot of people are hitting you know, some of those more, I don't know, something about those stories, the more well-known stories. But it's been fun tonight to kind of get the three of you together and really go kind of behind the scenes at about what it's been like, the whole experience has been like from this family's perspective. There's one left out who's not with us here tonight. I'll let you say what he does or doesn't do. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything. So there's another professional mascot in the family.
Yep, he's got a game tonight. That would be my oldest son, and he is the mascot for the Pistons.
That's
And,
incredible.
Sweet.
Yeah, he's been out there for about 5 years, and
Wow.
he started with the Cavs when LeBron was there
This is last year.
his last year.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I'll have to wait till he's not under some kind of contract and get him into Big Fat Studios, and we'll all compare some stories together. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a family business. And honestly, I got to tell you, you know, my favorite experience from this whole thing has been working with my boys, being able to raise my boys around this and being able to take them to the games and, you know, pick them up from school and, you know, take them to the arena and do homework. And, you know, and then they fall asleep on the way home and in the Rocky Mobile and putting them to bed, you know, and then watching them grow into this business and really take a hold of it and everything. You know, these guys assisting me and everything. I couldn't have, you know, my last few years were, you know, I just got into a groove that was really based upon, you know, their support and their ideas and their help and, you know, the props. All of a sudden, a last minute idea, you know, just help with all that stuff coming together and the appearances. I mean, just like that money, you know, Cade's idea, him producing those, because he's awesome with, you know, video and Photoshop and all that stuff. But he's, you know, producing this stuff and you know, anyways, handing it over to my son. Yeah.
You know, what makes the story more interesting is you've had an epic career, and it's fascinating though the broader once you back out from the career and the character and the skits and all the stunts and the run-ins with good players and crazy players and whoever. The story is richer though when you broaden out a little bit and you see what happened there with Drake and what Cade's role was in all of this, and you know, where your son Garrett is at. And the story becomes way more interesting, and it's a bigger story than just Rocky. I know you couldn't have done it without these guys' help, and been to the level that you were at. And with many private conversations with you, you've only expressed how much they have been a support to you. So I've witnessed that. So, and I've also I just found this whole thing interesting. So tonight we kind of had a plan, and some of my videos didn't go as smooth as we wanted to, but in some ways it's kind of been better, funner to kind of dive into the group of you and to get some other stories from the guys who we don't normally hear from. So appreciate you guys doing that. It's probably kind of a, I don't know, different experience. You guys don't usually get to talk all about your kind of stuff that you guys do, right?
No, I don't think this is the first time all three of us have really talked, on a podcast or to public like this. So this is really fun.
Yeah, it has been fun.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Have we left any stones unturned? I'm sure we have, but
no.
Something been pressing on your mind? All right. Well,
not for me.
I know I could keep going with all kinds of stories. I had to throw up the woman who does not need a super chat to be thrown up on the screen up there. That's Mom popping in right there. Says, Dad says he loves you all, and Grandpa for you, for Cade and Drake there. So, and
love you too.
And lots of support there for many years as well. It was Dad who helped you make your first wolf costume at basic high school.
Yep.
So
was that for basketball too, or for all the sports?
So that was for basketball, football, and then some other pop-in type of sports, but it was mainly football and basketball.
I guess my only question that we didn't talk about was basketball kind of where you wanted to be as a mascot, or I mean, is that
that's a good question.
Gravitate towards?
That is a good question. You know, I realized early on that basketball was more of a stage. Football was tough. And so I gravitated more to basketball. And so when I was in Denver on an internship, I wasn't even thinking Broncos or anybody. You know, it was, I'm going to call the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a good question. Cole coming in clutch there.
I know.
Yeah.
Buzzer.
And even, even the other teams, even the other leagues, their mascots always say, basketball is the stage. That's the big show.
It kind of makes sense. It would be more concentrated attention here, seems like football, boy, they're sure spread out, and everybody's got to see a lot longer distance, and you got everybody tucked in a little bit tighter. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense for me too, I would think.
Well, and you also have, what I love about it is you also have more of an interaction with fans. Like you say, you're football, you're separated with, but I can run right to somebody in the crowd. I can go grab a little kid, bring him on the court. There's just so much more flexibility there. So many more opportunities and things. Yeah, it's the place.
Yeah, and a lot of sports, you're not allowed to go into the crowd during gameplay.
Hockey.
You can't do that. Same with sorry. Same with NFL sometimes. So
you can't go into the crowd during gameplay in hockey.
In hockey, you can't.
Why is that?
Everybody has to have their eye on the puck.
I got to watch the puck.
Ah, interesting.
Because just the so your ends have the nets, but
something could happen.
Sideboards and behind penalty box stuff like that. Pucks come out all the time, so you got to be paying attention.
Huh? I would have never thought of it.
Yeah.
They don't let fans, come back from getting a hot dog or whatever. They can't go to their seats until stoppage.
They want them paying attention.
And that varies a little bit from rink to rink, though. Like, I was able to go up and down at ball actually when we went and watched that game.
You can go up.
They're probably scared of you.
Yeah. Why
You
are
can
they
go
be
up,
scared?
but I would be
No,
surprised they let you down. Yeah.
They did let me down.
By the way, Cole, we were,
Yes.
you guys talked last night about the super fans for the Avalanche.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And just the quick little back on that. I don't know if Pledger's in here listening, but so my older brother was in town, living,
He was actually
working, going to school.
Working on like master's degree or something there. Anyway.
Yeah, at EU. And so we just got the Avalanche, and there was a big meeting. We were going into playoffs, and there was a big meeting in our, in McNichols Arena. And I wasn't involved. I wasn't invited to this, but it was like a big staff thing. And I'm walking by, and I'm like, I'm going to duck in and just listen. And I go into the conference room, sit down in the back, and they're talking about how do we get people involved? Like, how do we get them chanting? How do we get them doing the wave? How do we get them doing stuff? We got to involve them more. And they didn't have a mascot. And so I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, yeah, Ken, what's up? I go, you can't like tell them to do to chant something. You can't, like, if you really want them to get involved, you need to have like, a super fan. You need to have somebody dressed up that's,
leading the charge,
prompting all this.
Yeah.
And they're like, can you do that? I said, well, yeah, but I mean, are you sure that, yeah, yep, you're the guy. You can do it. Yes. What do you need to do this? And I said, 2 seats in the corner on the glass.
I didn't know how this came about. This is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I said 2 seats in the corner on the glass.
Wow.
He's like,
done.
So will you get working on that?
Is that during the finals?
That was in the
playoffs.
That was playoffs. That we were going into the playoffs. First time we'd ever hosted, hockey playoff
series.
And they had a
Yeah.
team.
Oh, and I ended up getting a ring.
What?
Yeah.
You were working.
I ended up getting a
Wait a
Stanley
minute.
Cup
You got a ring from the Avalanche?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't gotten I've
remember
gotten a ring from the Avalanche from way back then. I haven't even, speaking of rings.
So I was handed a note right at the beginning of this podcast. This was going to be the first question, and I totally it's sat over here. The first question was going to be, do you have a championship ring from 2023?
I do not. I have not received 2023
I was hoping you were going to be able to show it to us. That's a big
yeah. Thank you for that.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet, huh? But you got a ring from the Avalanche?
Yes, I got a ring from the Avalanche for that.
Cool. This
Isn't
is
that great?
That's incredible.
I mean, I'm not even an Avs fan. I hate the Avs.
Yeah, but you're ready to go
nemesis.
paint your face and be a super fan and try to get
Edmonton has super fans already. And they freaking travel, dude. They're super fans. They have Oiler Nation. We talked about it last night.
Yeah.
But they have they're two super fans. Like, they have a podcast together. There's 3 of them. And they do. They travel all the time, and they're.
So what's funny about this though is I know these guys. I know Ken and I know my older brother Pledger, and they were not hockey super fans.
No,
I knew nothing about hockey. Nothing.
And not everything is what you see.
No. Oh, there was
you guys were in the paper. You guys were in the paper. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were in the paper. You know what? And
That's
they
so
even
crazy.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then you guys recreated it with you and Drew, wasn't it?
Yes.
At the outdoor NHL game.
Yeah. So they had a special outdoor game.
Was that a Winter Classic game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Rockies Stadium,
Yeah,
and they asked us to recreate that. So I did that with Drew, who is Pledger's son.
Yeah.
Your face is exactly the same.
Exactly like
awesome.
it. I was Stick Boy, and he was Stanley C.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Stick Boy and
Stick
Stanley
Boy and
C.
Stanley C.
Yeah, and so I will tell you one.
Didn't know the first thing about hockey.
I knew nothing. So we were about to win, and at one game we were about to win, and we were like, it was like 3-0, and I wanted to chant "shutout, shut out, shut out." Oh my gosh! One of our executive assistants runs down to me. This is Charlotte, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
She runs down to me. I guess she was sitting up in the stands. She runs down to me and she gives me the business, saying, "Stop that! Stop it! Stop it! Stop!" And I'm like, okay, geez, and I'm trying to act like I don't know her or whatever. And she's like, "Stop, stop." I find out later. Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yes, it is.
How am I supposed to know?
So superstitious.
Yes.
Hockey is so superstitious.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
kind of like when a pitcher in MLB is throwing a no-hitter, you don't talk to him. You don't do anything. Same with a shutout in hockey. When they haven't got behind the keeper and the net's been empty the whole game, you don't think shutout. And when the announcers on a hockey game say shutout, it freaking ruins it. So yes, you don't say shutout in a hockey game.
I know. I had no idea.
So funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And no wonder no one was chanting it.
So Pledger has a story too. Apparently, we're going to check the chats here, and you might have a phone call from him after our podcast here, because he didn't get a ring. That just got brought up by Mom. And go ahead and read that comment on screen there, Ken. Tell what I got right there. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I called Patrick Roy. Oh,
Roy.
yes, you did. He's like, let's start chanting Roy. I'm like, no. I think it's Wah. It's Wah. It's Wah. He's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
sure?
This is
perfect.
I mean, no offense, but this is like Dumb and Dumber or got hired to be super fans. I'm just picturing Jim Carrey and the other, what's his name? Oh my gosh.
Nailed it. That's who we were, man. It was so, it was so bad. He started, Roy. Oh my gosh. Nice save, Roy. I'm like, I think it's Wah.
I think it's Wah. Oh my gosh.
But you still got to be the super fan for the Colorado.
Yes.
One of you got a ring out of it. And apparently, if Pledger had known what the guy's name was, maybe he'd have an Avalanche ring.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Charlotte said, don't give that guy one.
Did you do that just for the playoff run?
Just for the playoffs. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we win it. And I was right there for it.
Yeah. Oh,
man. Unreal.
We were one game away last year, but whatever. One goal away.
Yeah.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, it's a different podcast. Hey, thanks guys for taking this evening to do this with us. We had a lot of setup here, but it came off pretty good, and I don't care. We had a great time, and
this was so much fun.
This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate everybody in the comment section and anybody who didn't comment. You've just been in here watching with us. I look at the computer screen, but I need to look up there at you. But thank you for taking your time this evening and hearing some great stories. I hope that you enjoyed yourself as much as we enjoyed ourselves. We had a great time. I had a great time, Cole.
I did too.
And you guys could be doing a lot of big fancy podcasts, and you guys are on our little small town Montana podcast, and we appreciate it. So thank you. We appreciate it. I've been a super fan my whole life. So this is also a real treat for me. And I probably got a lot of family who's been dipping in here, and we've all been super fans. So we're waiting for you to get your, we're rooting for you. And we're excited for the next chapter.
It. Yeah, man. Well, hey, thanks for having us on.
Yes,
this has been a real treat.
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully we'll be able to tell more of the story soon. So
I hope so. We will do another one. You guys are always, I will drop whatever and we'll do it again. So when you guys are ready, we're ready. So
hey, can I give a quick little preview of upcoming attractions? I am writing a book, so a lot of details will be in the book, and some other projects that we're working on as well. But yeah, stay tuned for the book and we are actually going to have a pre-order thing set up here soon, and so you can go on and get on the list.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's going to be exciting.
Have them shout out their podcast and everything too.
Yeah. Tell us about your podcast. And I'm going to put a link. If I didn't already, there should be a link either in the description or I have it ready. I'll put it in the description. So after this podcast is over, you can find a link to where you can find Kenn and follow Kenn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Between the Fur. Yep, Between the Fur. It's available everywhere. It's where Kenn speaks with past and current mascots, professional mascots only, about behind the scenes everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good
podcast. You can also
podcast.
bring some merch. Visit Kenn's Instagram, SuperKenn1, and there's some like vintage Rocky merch and other merch on that site.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cool stuff. Well, we
Appreciate
appreciate it.
y'all, man. You guys are awesome.
Yep,
love
thanks for having us.
the podcast, and been a big fan of your guys's ever since you guys.
Well, thank you. We're just
thanks.
humble small town boys here, sitting in at the illustrious Uncle Sam's complex. I say that because you know what it really is here. So, all right. Hey, thank you everybody again in the comment section, and just those viewers who were quietly observing. We had a great time. We appreciate you, and we'll do it again soon.
Hell yeah. Peace out.
Peace.